Well, there's multiple beasts in the East. But which ones will stand out and what teams need to rebuild? I'm going over that. All right, what's going on, guys? This is the All Around Sports Cast. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are talking about the Eastern teams. And last two times, I've gone over both the Northern teams and the South teams. Which now we move on to these Eastern teams, which I've been covering on what each side is going to draft. So I think it's going to be a really good one. Next episode we'll be doing our finale of this series, which will be the NFC and AFC West with, of course, my team, with the team I'm a fan of. But for now, let's get this video started. But before I do want to mention, if you guys do like this video, please make sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe if you're new, and be sure to turn on that notification bell if you want day-to-day updates. For now, let's get this thing started. Starting us off with the AFC East this time. Last few times I've started with the NFC. Now I'm shifting to the AFC first. First, you got one of the biggest disappointments of last year. You got the old dynasty, the New England Patriots. The Patriots just stunk up the joint last year. Sure, they beat Buffalo once, but they absolutely crashed and burned against the Jets in the season finale. Of course, losing Bill Belichick and now getting Jared Mayo, which was the youngest head coach until Mike McDonald got hired from the Seahawks. Just saying. But I think that the Patriots are in a few years of pain. Are going to be for a few years of pain. Because the Patriots are just not that good. They can't match up with the Bills. But the Patriots, I do believe they're going to go after a quarterback, which I'm thinking it's going to be Drake May because he's a great player. I think they're going to go after him, and we'll see what happens. But other than that, I could see him going after receivers, tight ends, and then also along with running backs, and then also along with defense as well. Primarily the secondary, because their secondary was god-awful last year. But now we shift things over to the New York Jets. The third-place team after Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the first 4 snaps of the opening game against the Bills, which happened to be on September 11th, which we all know what happened that day. Or do we? But anyways, the Jets ultimately fell down and crashed back down to earth. And after so much expectations on them, they came crashing and burning. But I do like the moves that the Jets have made so far. Of course, trading for Hassan Reddick, which I did not see coming. And then also getting along with like Tyron Smith and loads of other guys on the offensive line, which I think needed to be assessed. And then, I believe that they're going to go more O-line in the draft. And then also go after some more tight ends. Maybe go after some more defense. But other than that, this team's pretty much built to win a championship. But, of course, we'll have to see it to believe it first. But we'll see what the bad man can do next year. And then we move down the board to the team that can't play in inclement weather. You got the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins went to the wild card round against Kansas City and got beat. In -2 weather, Tua and cold weather just do not mix. So, I just think that the Dolphins need to get better at playing on the road. Because if you can't play in inclement weather, you can't play football, for crying out loud. But you gotta play through all the elements. You gotta play through rain, snow, and cold as well. You gotta play through all of it, no matter what the circumstances is. You gotta go out there and do your job. But as far as things go, I could see them going after more O-line. I could see them going after more defense. But I just don't think the Dolphins are going to be that good. Everyone's looked at them as kind of like a fraudulent team as long as they're on the road, which I totally agree with. But we'll see what happens next year. It's a whole different team. We'll see what happens. And then you got the 4-time defending divisional champion, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have just not been able to get past the divisional round for some time. But they've lost a lot of defensive weapons, including Darrell Dodson to my Seattle Seahawks. But so many big weapons are gone. But I think they're going to go out all out on defense this year. Maybe go out and get another receiver to be number 2 receiver with Stephon Diggs. Get the defenses a little confused. I just think that they need to get new weapons. More offensive weapons to get this team over the peak. But we'll see if Buffalo can finally finish the job this time. We'll see what happens. And then we move things over to the NFC East, which we're starting off with the New York Giants. The Giants, after making the playoffs last year, eventually crashed back to earth last year, which Daniel Jones got hurt for some time, and then Tommy DeVito was leading a good charge in his few starts, and then they ended up being eliminated. But this Giants team, I just don't know if they're going to be good next year. We don't know what to expect, for crying out loud. I mean, I like the Brian Burns move that they went after, and then I also like the move that they went for to get Devin Singletary, Isaiah McKenzie, and also along with Drew Lock, who was with the Seahawks last year, which he led that game-winning drive against the Philadelphia Eagles, which I'll begin to here in just a second. But I think if Drew Lock becomes a starter, I think he wouldn't perform well immediately, but they can build around him because Drew Lock shows whenever he's on the playing field, at least last year when he was the backup to Geno, he was showing peaks. And in that game against Philly, he showed up in the big moments. Under 2 minutes left to go. He drove a 92-yard drive down the field to win the game. And that was by far the hugest moment of Drew Lock's career. Which, I think if they go out for Drew Lock, I would be all ears for the New York Giants to do that. But as far as the draft goes, I can see them going after more offensive weapons because they don't have any big names right now. And then also going more O-line and also more defense. But we'll see what happens. And then you got the NFC East runner-up. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, after collapsing late in the season, including one of their few losses at the end of the year to my team, the Seahawks, the Philadelphia Eagles came back crashing and burning. Now have Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox retiring. But this team made some big moves in the offseason, getting Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants, also along with getting Bryce Huff and Devin White. I think that those were all good moves, but still, the Eagles, I think, their coordinators were the main issue. And now that you got 2 new ones, you got Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, which, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the Eagles can do because now you got Saquon Barkley in there. Saquon is a baller. And you pair him up with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and you also Devontae Smith, I believe, and then also along with like Dallas Goedert and Jalen Hurts. I mean, that is a dangerous offense in my own opinion. And then their defense is still very good. You still got Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. You still got loads of weapons on the defense, including Reed Blankenship, who I think really needed to be extended for the Eagles. Luckily, that happened for him. But, I mean, I'm thinking they're going to go after defense this draft, also along with offense. But we'll see what happens, and maybe the Eagles might be back next year. And then, you got the so-called America's team. You got the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, after being eliminated in the wild card round to the Packers again, finally crashed back down to earth and said they're going all in this year, which they've made more releases than they have signings. Signing a long snapper and Eric Kendricks. Also, along with releasing Michael Gallup, including Vander Esch, which I know that he was going through a neck injury that caused him to retire early. May his career rest in peace. May his career rest in peace. And then also along with other letting go of Tony Pollard and Tyron Smith, they've got a lot of places to assess. They got to assess the corner, they got to assess linebacker, they got to assess defensive tackle, they got to assess the left tackle, they got to assess the running back. They got so many problems right now. And Dallas, they're just a choke waiting to happen, in my opinion. They're a choke waiting to happen. Which is always true because 13 straight playoff appearances without an NFC Championship game appearance. Every year they say the same old thing that they're going to go to the Super Bowl and then end up crashing back down to earth, as we all know them for. But, of course, we know the Cowboys will crash and burn eventually, so to all Cowboy fans watching, just remain composed. No matter how good they might seem to look, no matter how good you want them to be, don't lose it. No matter how hard it might get. Whenever the expectations are the highest, that's when the palms get all sweaty. That's when the shoulders start to shake. And then all of a sudden, BAM! The Cowboys will crumble just like that. And that's what has happened for the last 28 to 29 years. But anyways, that's my video for today. Next episode, I'll be doing the West teams in the finale of this little 4-episode series that I am doing of this. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on each of these teams down in the comments below. And be sure to, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on the notification bell for day-to-day updates on my videos and live streams. I'll catch you all in the next one. So long for now.